Okay, hey friends. So today we are going to be talking about top 5 artifacts that I think should be in every single EDH deck. When it comes to deck building, I know we all have a couple quirks or pet cards that we put in all of our decks, and these are going to be the top 5 artifacts that I think you should include in that list. These are artifacts that no matter what you're building around, if it's a tribal deck, if you're really going for some synergy, you're more on the CDH round, I'm not sure. You might have to let me know what you think about these cards, but at the end of the day, I think every single EDH deck can benefit from these 5 artifacts. And don't worry, I have a couple extra cards I'm gonna throw in there for you too. An artifact that is one of my all-time favorite is Dark Steelplate. It costs 3, is indestructible, and gives equipped creature indestructible. The cost is 2, so overall I think this is a pretty decent card mana-wise. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to get out, doesn't cost that much to equip, and at the end of the day, I mean, when I'm building my commander decks, I'm having these awesome creatures in there that I want to hit the battlefield and stay there. I know some of us do blink decks or other types of shenanigans, so this wouldn't be the best for that. However, you might have a creature in your deck that just really would help you benefit long term by keeping Dark Steelplate on it, or maybe you're stealing a card from an opponent that would really be able to benefit you by putting Dark Steelplate on it, especially if you can steal their commander and then put this on there so they never get it back. That'd be a little mean, but hey, that's what the name of the game is. And anyways, I think Dark Steelplate is powerful overall because a lot of the times, I mean, my commanders are Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight, Toxel the Corrosive, Gisa, Glorious Resurrector. So these are like commanders that I need to stay on the battlefield to do the thing, and Dark Steelplate lets me do that. So I think no matter what type of shenanigan you're running, Dark Steelplate would benefit in every single EDH deck. It just definitely benefits those a lot more where we have creatures that, hey, we built good decks, so we want them to stay on the battlefield. There's also Skull Clamp as an equipment. It costs 1 and says equipped creature gets +1, -1. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards, equip for 1. I know this card is busted especially when you're putting it on a token, so keep that in mind. I mean, it's just automatic 2 card draw for only really an equipment cost of 1, so that's insane on its own. But I like to put this on creatures that I want to stay on the battlefield, because if it does die, like one of my commanders, for instance, Gisa, Glorious Resurrector, I'm exiling cards and I'm only getting them if the same Gisa is staying on the battlefield. So if I'm not able to get a protection for her, I'm at least going to be putting Skull Clamp because I really don't want her to die. But if she does, at least I get some kind of benefit of at least 2 card draw here. So there is still benefit with Skull Clamp, even if you're not doing the busted thing of putting it on a 1/1 creature to get that automatic 2 card draw. So overall, I think Skull Clamp is really powerful. I play it in every deck I run, but I don't see it in my other friends' decks. So I know they say that it's a good card, but your money is where your mouth is. So if you're going to say that it's a good card, you should be running it in every deck. And that's why I think every EDH deck definitely needs Skull Clamp. Coming in third, we have actually kind of like a tie for 2 cards. This is definitely controversial, so let me know what you think in the comments. But I'm going to be talking about Switchfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves. They're very, very similar. Really, there's only one big difference in my opinion. Switchfoot Boots costs 2 and says equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Lightning Greaves is a mana cost of 2 and says equipped creature has haste and shroud. Swiftfoot Boost equips for 1, Lightning Greaves equips for 0. Equips for 0. And that's why the majority of players honestly run Lightning Greaves way more often. It's also real world money more expensive because of the equipment cost for 0. That is super strong. I mean, equip for whenever you want. That is powerful. However, I'm actually going to benefit more from Swiftfoot Boots. I like Swiftfoot Boots better because of the difference in hexproof versus shroud. Shroud with the Lightning Greaves allows myself as well as my opponents not being able to target that creature, while Swiftfoot Boots only with hexproof allows me to still attach things to my creature, just opponents can't attack that creature or do any kind of shenanigan to that creature. So I prefer hexproof because maybe I have Swiftfoot Boots on it to give it haste. I don't mind paying that equipment cost of 1. but maybe I want to put Skull Clamp or Dark Steel Plate on that creature as well. Well, if it's Lightning Greaves and has Shroud, I can't do that because it's any kind of anything, can't be targeting this creature. Whereas Swiftfoot Boots, it's only opponents can't target. So I actually like Swiftfoot Boots better here. I know the equip for 0 and Lightning Greaves is very appealing, and hey, I'm running both of these in all of my decks. But I'm a bigger fan of Swiftfoot Boots. I'm gonna say it. Swiftfoot Boots is better. So come at me. That's what I think. But finally, we are coming up on 2 mana rocks here. We are having Chromatic Lantern. So this is a mana cost of 3. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. It also taps and adds 1 mana of any color. I think this needs to be in way more EDH decks because it's a mana rock of tapping and adding 1 mana of any color. So literally any color you want. If you steal something from an opponent and for whatever reason you can't conjure that color, even if that spell said use mana of any color to cast a spell, blah, 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 whatever. Chromatic Lantern gives you every single color. So I like this a little bit better than like Command Tower, where it just taps for a color in your commander's identity. Also a really great card, but I like that it's any color here. I can get literally everything I want, but more specifically, lands I control can tap for anything. So I don't really have to worry about mathing things, making sure that I'm tapping the right lands for, producing the right color mana that I need for that time, as well as thinking through ahead of like, hey, this would be a cool instant to interrupt with, yada yada. Chromatic Lantern gets rid of that stress, so I don't mind that it costs 3. I think that's completely fine because it's long term giving me a more stress-free gameplay. So Chromatic Lantern, great card, put it in your decks. And then top 1, we all know it, it's the holy grail of Commander, Soul Ring. Soul Ring is an artifact that costs 1, and it taps, adds 2 to your mana pool. This is colorless mana, so definitely keep that in mind, but this card is literally the ultimate of EDH. I mean, when you think of Commander, you are thinking of Soul Ring. Every single player puts this in every single deck for a good reason. And I know that, honestly, this is being talked about to be on the ban list for Commander, but I think that would be ridiculous, mostly because when you think of Commander, you think of Soul Ring. And when you have a card that is so stapled to a format, then I think that it's a really great card. Yeah, it can be busted when it's a turn 1 play, but I mean, everybody's running it all the time. When you think of Commander, you think of this card more than literally anything else. And I can't really think of another format that has such a staple like Soul Ring for Commander. Soul Ring's it. Soul Ring's the prime of the prime. So Soul Ring is the number 1 and definitely needs to be in every single EDH deck ever to exist for all of time. It's the best. So Soul Ring is there. And then I actually have 2 bonus cards for us. These are way more expensive cards than what we've been talking about, but definitely need to be mentioned for good reason. First, we're going to have Senseis Defining Top. It's an artifact that costs 1 to play. You can tap 1, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Then tap Senseis Defining Top to draw a card, then putting Senseis Defining Top on top of its owner's library. I know that this card is super powerful and you're just getting all type of manipulation for your library this way. It's also a little bit of card draw. So, I mean, it's a really powerful card because you're just able to manipulate your deck to be what you need when you need it. I'm not really running Senseis Defining Top. I don't really like it. I like there to be a little bit of chaos, a little bit of unknown, a little bit of chance to the game because I am trying to win, but it's still a game. I want it to be fun. I want it to be a little bit unpredictable. So I really like this card. I mean, it is really good manipulation. I do run scry things. So, I mean, scrying's amazing. I'm not saying that this is not a powerful card. It definitely is. Definitely should be in your decks. I just like there to be some chance to have a little bit of a whimsy, a little bit of fun. So I'm not putting this in my decks, but you definitely should put it in yours if you can afford to do so, or support an indie artist by finding an altar that you think the art is really cool. That would be awesome as well. And then finally, we are going to be looking at Jeweled Lotus. This card costs 0 to play, is an artifact that taps, sacrifice Jeweled Lotus, add 3 mana of any 1 color. Spend this mana only to cast your commander. I played this one time with Cranko Goblin tribal deck. Literally insane. So, I mean, Jeweled Lotus is busted, costs 0, taps to add 3 mana. Literally amazing. Very expensive for that reason. And oh my gosh, you guys, for Commander Masters, they came out with a new art for this card. Look at this. This is the most beautiful Magic card I have literally ever seen. It's everything that I want. It's dark and moody, but the prismatic light coming off of the Lotus, I mean, it's literally gorgeous. Yeah, this is the most gorgeous card I've ever seen, and very powerful, which obviously makes it to make sense to have that real world money cost. I don't know. I just, if I'm proxying this, yeah, but like nobody can afford to put this in every single deck. So definitely save this for your more powerful decks. It's amazing. So if you can get it early, awesome. If you're getting it late game, still awesome, because we're having that commander tax on a commander. So this helps us get rid of that. So overall, Jewel Lotus is a powerful card no matter when you play it, which is definitely why I'm mentioning it. And definitely get yourselves the Commander Masters version because it's gorgeous. So yeah, those are my cards. Let me know what you think was the best one out of this list. All right, that is it for this video, you guys. I had so much fun talking about my top 5 artifacts that I think should be in every EDH deck. Let me know what you think. Do you think I missed some? Would you swap some out? Are you running these cards? I would love to just really hear what you think about these and other deck building ideas, because I know how I deck build, but I would love to hear how you do it. That way we can talk about some of these things more often. I think deck building is one of the things that I love most about playing Magic. I love getting into the lore. I love the story building, the world building that you get to do when you build a deck. So I love these videos and I would love to make them for you. So if you agree with that, if you would support my channel, liking and subscribing really helps me out. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of this community. And as always, happy gaming.